and lesson planning. Yes, and now we are on classroom management. And today we wanted to focus on the elephant in the room, the management of the CBC classroom. So first of all, if you look at the slide, it asks our key title for the project, but our main focus today is the CBC classroom management. Of course, we'll be sharing, and you people will share with us quite a lot about how you are going to manage the grade 10 for those one of us who are in secondary. For those who are in primary, I think you are used to it. You'll also give us your experience and expertise. And for those in tertiary, probably you'll also give us your view about it. So let me welcome today's presenter. Let me introduce him. Eza Torotwa is our today's presenter. If I don't pronounce it, you'll excuse me properly. But I think Eza should be the right pronunciation. He is from Nakuru chapter. He's a teacher who has taught for some time with a wealth of experience. And he has got, he is conversant with the CBC and also 844. So we'll be sharing and hearing a lot from him. It's quite interactive. It's not that we'll allow him to talk. We can ask questions. We can also contribute ideas. So Nakuru chapter, Eza Terotwa, who is our today's presenter. Welcome for today's presentation. Can you take the floor, please, Eza?
Thank you, Chairman, and Happy New Year to LPAC members, to fellow colleagues, and anyone who has joined us from whichever chapter in this country. Welcome and a Happy New Year. My name is, as I've been introduced, Eza Kipkurui Toroto is my name. And thank you, Chairman, for that apt introduction. Now, today we are going to look at the competency-based education. We are going to look at how we'll be doing it in the classroom. But before we begin, we need to understand what exactly is CBE. We need also to understand why is CBE important today. We'll also look at the features of a CBE classroom. Then we'll also look at the changing roles of teachers and learners. But I'll base my presentation more so on the features of a CBE classroom. Be my guest. Now, to begin with, why CBE? Why competency-based education? It competency. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you. Continue.
Yes. Why CBE? From the introduction, it comes out that CBE is a competency-based. CBE is learner-centered approach, and CBE is a modern method where the student is at the heart of every activity. And CBE focuses on application. Unlike the old system, the 844 system, CBE focuses on skills, CBE focuses on values, and also focuses on the application of knowledge rather than just passing exam. CBE is not exam oriented, as allow me to call 844 the late brother. CBE is about focusing on skills, values, and the application of knowledge. It is not exam oriented. It is student oriented or learner centered. And in this system of CBE, a student progresses based on their demonstrated competence, proving that they can actually perform a task rather than just the amount of time that they can sit in a chair. And why is it CBC essential? CB is a global reality. CB is an idea whose time has come. CB comes in to satisfy the demands of the 21st century. The world now rewards critical thinking. The world rewards creativity and digital literacy. Also, CB is essential because of global industries in innovation, which has shifted from content recall to problem solving and innovation. In the Kenyan context, allow me to mention this, is that this curriculum, the CB curriculum, is designed to produce citizens who can achieve the goals of Kenya Vision 2030 and the SDGs. Then again, in the Kenyan context, CB is important in that it instills national values. It builds the foundation of patriotism and citizenship, addressing the limitations found in the previous 844. Give me a minute.
Ezra, can you unmute? We have lost you. Unmute. You are muted. Ezra, unmute.
Yes, Chairman. Give me a minute. I'll be back.
Okay, thank you. So meantime, as we wait for him, you can also put your views in the chat. If you have your feelings about CBC and CBE, what you know about it, because we are talking about managing classroom, your experiences can put in the chat as we wait for Ezra to continue. Yeah, let me welcome Francisca all the way from Kwale, and then Gatwiri from, I think, Kakamega chapter. Is that correct? Uchin Christopher, you from Turkana? You can introduce yourself to the chapter.
Yeah, I'm from Turkana.
Yes. Yes, welcome. Yes, welcome. We have Cosmas, Nakuru chapter. Karibu sana.
Thank you, and apologies for that minute. I was sorting something here on my internet. Thank you very much. As I was saying, we were looking for those who have joined us. Welcome. We just started. I was mentioning on the Kenyan context why CB is important. Why is it essential? Then I was mentioning issues or matters and national values. CB builds the foundation for patriotism. CB also builds the foundation for citizenship, and it helps in addressing the limitations that was in the previous curriculum, the 844. Now we look at the key features of a CB classroom, and with you here in the screen, I have close to 6 features of the CB classroom. The first thing that I mentioned is that CB in the introduction, in the definition, I said CBE is learner-centered. Unlike the late brother, the 844, CB is learner-centered and also activity-based. You heard me mention when it is not about a student sitting in a chair all day waiting for exam. Now, CBE is learner-centered and activity-based. The students are involved, the learners are involved so much. Another feature of this CBE classroom is that it focuses on competencies, it focuses on values and the skills. It also focuses on real life connections, lessons that are built around meaningful real life experiences so that learners can understand why they are learning. Then we have a continuous formative assessment. Assessment is always a constant process, and it is used to guide not just to grade, not just as a final grade at the end of the term. The CBE has a continuous formative assessment. The one that I was saying, activity-based, is basically students learn by doing through hands-on activities. Then another feature is the differentiated instructions, where the teacher recognizes that students learn at different speeds and provides tailored support for the individual learner or student. Those are the features of the CBE classroom: learner-centered, activities-based, continuous assessment, and differentiated instruction. And all those things focus on competencies, values, and attitudes. Now, we look at the shifts in the CBE classroom, where the teacher is no longer seen as a teacher in quotes, but a teacher is seen as a facilitator who facilitates learning. There we have the roles of a teacher. The teacher is a facilitator. A teacher, you no longer hold all answers. You help students find them. You facilitate. You guide. It is not about the teacher shouting in front. The teacher facilitates or guides the learners to find answers. A teacher is also a coach and a mentor. A teacher is supposed to provide encouragement and personalized feedback to his or her learners. A teacher is a designer of experiences. Learning basically is about experiences. Now, a teacher in a CBE classroom is a designer of learning experiences. A teacher spends a lot of time creating tasks that challenge and engage the mind of the learner. Then finally, a teacher is assessor of these competencies. A teacher is supposed to assess each student's and their competency. On the flip side, the learner's role has changed. You remember in the CB 844, it was somehow different. And in this, the learner is involved throughout. The first one there, we have active participants. Students are no longer passive vessels to be filled. They are active participants in their quest for education. They take a leading role. From the introduction, we said it is student-based or learner-centered. So they take a very active role in their own education or in their own learning. Then lastly is a student or a learner is a problem solver and a collaborator. They work together to tackle challenges build on the 7 competencies. We'll look at it later on. They work together to tackle these challenges, building on the 7 key competencies. And I'll mention them. Is a problem solver and a collaborator. Then lastly, a learner is reflective and self-directed. Most of the learning activities that will be taking place in a CBE classroom will involve the learner. The learner will be self-directed. We say that the work of the teacher is just to facilitate and guide, but most of the learning ought to be done by the learner, since the learner will be self-directed. And now, through the CBE, we are training students who are self-directed, students who are reflective. We are not just preparing them for exam, but we are preparing them for the things ahead of them. Things ahead of them like work. We are preparing them to fit the various pathways, the career pathways that fits their potential interests. Now, as I've introduced that and I've given a background of a CBE classroom, allow me now to mention the key competencies of the CBE. As you can see there, I have listed. The first one is communication and collaboration. And in the CBE, the CBE curriculum, we have all those competencies, 7 in number. The first one is communication and collaboration. Second one is critical thinking and problem solving. Creativity listed as they appear there. You'll allow me to mention something small as we proceed. In the first one, communication and collaboration, this is embedded in their learning experiences that will make learning take place in a group or in a team. In this core competency, it will present learners with an opportunity to express themselves orally and in writing. It will also present learners an opportunity to listen attentively. It will also present learners an opportunity to argue out an opinion, to defend his or her own views. It will also present an opportunity for the student, for the learner, to share knowledge, to share resources with others and seek the same from them. It will also help in contribute to the team's objectives and to justify the course of action that a student will take. In critical thinking and problem solving, this is learning around situations that require learners to use logic and evidence to arrive at conclusions or in solving a problem. And the critical thinking and problem solving basically will create scenarios for learners where they can demonstrate, they can use evidence, they can be innovative, then they can explore options or new ways of doing other chores. They can also be able to generate and implement ideas individually, effectively to seek solutions to a contextual problem. It also demonstrates open-mindedness to new ideas and opinion. Citizenship, listed there, number 4, sorry. CBE will create a learning environment that will require the learners to demonstrate their rights, privilege, and their duties as citizens. And activities that will require them to see a sense of identity. It will uphold identity in their peers. It will make them respect and uphold rights of others. It will help them give them a sense of responsibility by claiming their own rights and privileges. It can also help them, or it will help them in seeking peace while resolving conflicts. Then number 4 is literacy, digital literacy. CB exposes learners to a wide range of content and devices that will equip them with the knowledge, the skills, the behaviors, which are very much effective and safe for digital literacy. We are living in the digital age, the 21st century. Now, CB will incorporate all these things to the learner. It will enable them use digital devices and communication networks. It will make them aware and adhering to ethical issues or protocols when it comes to digital things like internet and what have you. Digital literacy will also get information, will enable students get information about societal issues from the digital media. Digital literacy can also help learners to search, evaluate, and use information from internet or from this digital platform. Another key competency is creativity and imagination, where CB will exploit learning activities as avenues for learners to create new ideas that result in products that add value to their lives and to the lives of those around them. It will bring about diversify the activities to take place on board various learners, including how to communicate, how to translate ideas into real items, presenting multiple dimension, compiling other people's ideas to a concrete image. The creativity and imagination can help them analyze a broad idea into competent ideas. They can be innovative. They can model something or an item from their own ideas. Then another competency, number 6, listed there, is learning to learn. And since learning is a continuous process, learning is a continuous process that requires personal organization, effective management of time and information, both for individuals and for groups. And in CBE, this will provide tasks that will challenge learners to show openness to new ideas. It will also help them critique his or her own ideas. It will help them in progressively adopt new values, new beliefs, and other opinion structures. It will help them in seeking assistance to overcome existing obstacles. Then lastly is self-efficacy. This is a core competency where in CB, where learning environment instills the learners in belief about their capabilities when they are performing some assigned tasks, prospects for their well-being. It will also help them develop assignments that give learners several chances. For example, presenting their ideas in confidence demonstrates a very good sense of assurance and trust. It will help students volunteer themselves to undertake challenging tasks. You know how hard it is for a student to volunteer himself or herself to perform a certain task when called upon. This will also help the learner to demonstrate self-awareness, demonstrate responsibility, and even co-management. A student will be able to demonstrate those. After the competency, we look at the values of CBE listed there. Patriotism.
Yes, perhaps those who have questions can put in the chat.
All right, Chairman.
As we go along, they can put in the chat. I'll help to read them as we go along.
Now,
those who have
thank you.
questions, reactions, comments can put in the chat. Thank you. Continue.
Thank you, Chairman. Here we have the 8 values of CBE as listed. I'll not dwell so much on them. As listed, you can see unity, love, peace, patriotism, integrity, respect, responsibility, and social justice. These values are the standards that guide an individual on how to respond, on how to behave in any given circumstances. And in a CBE classroom, these 8 values have been identified to help the students in his education. And these values of CBE are addressed in the learning outcomes. We'll later on look at the learning outcomes. And also these values are addressed in the key inquiry questions and also in learning experiences. Now, in a CBE classroom, we have a lot mentioned from PP1 to primary. I'll just pick up from junior school and senior school. In junior school, there are 9 learning areas, and in junior school comprises of grade 7, grade 8, and grade 9. There are these subjects that are learned in junior school. We have English, Kiswahili, Kenya Sign Language, mathematics, religious education, what we always refer to CRE, but we also have the Islamic one, IRE, integrated science, technical. We also have agriculture, creative arts, and social studies. While in senior school, there are also 3 classes or 3 grades. Allow me to use the words grades and classes interchangeably for us as we are still transitioning. We will take time to learn these things. Can you be able to see my screen again?
Yeah, we are seeing. Proceed.
We are seeing it. We can see it. Senior school, grades 10, 11, and 12. Senior school comprises 3 years of education for learners between 15 and 18 years. Is that where we are?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, now, in senior school, it comprises of 3 years of education for learners between the ages of 15 and 18. And in this senior school, this is where the foundation for further education and training at the tertiary level begin, and also in the world of work. And in senior school, this is where learners will specialize in a career path of their choice based on their potential, interests, and personality. Also, learners will undertake core subjects and elective subjects based on their career choices, based on their aptitude, personality, and also on their interests. We have three pathways in senior school. The first one is the pathway for arts and sports pathway, where it has been divided into two: sports science. We have sports science and we have arts. In sports science, we have sports and recreation, whereas on arts, we have music and dance, theater, fine arts, and what have you. In the second pathway, we have the social science path. And in this, it has two elements, the elements of languages and literature. Then we have that element of humanities and business studies. As listed there, languages, we have literature in English. We have indigenous language, you can mention them. We have Fasihi ya Kiswahili, sign language. We also have these foreign languages listed there: Mandarin, German, French, and Arabic. While on this other end, we have humanities and business. We have the two religious studies, the two faiths, the Christian and the Islam. We also have the Hindu. Then we have history and citizenship, geography, and lastly, that one. Then in the STEM pathway, this STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, divided into three, where we have pure sciences, applied sciences, then technical studies, as listed above. In senior school, though, we have the three pathways where students choose a pathway based on their capabilities, based on their attitudes. And the scope of learning in this senior school, we have listed there. There are 4 core subjects where we have English, we have Kiswahili, we also have this Kenya Sign Language, we have mathematics and essential mathematics. Then we have this component or these subjects known as community service learning. I don't know who will be teaching this, but I'm so sure most of us, given a chance, will be able to handle this community service learning. Then lastly, we have the pastoral and religious program of instruction. Those are the core subjects. Then support subjects, these are physical education. Then we have ICT. Then listed there are the subjects of a senior school. All of them. You'll take a look. I'll share. You take a look at what has been given there. Now into something different, the curriculum design. The curriculum design, basically in the 844, curriculum design was known as, if I'm not wrong, syllabus. This is what was being referred to as syllabus. And from the definition, a curriculum design is a document that outlines the components or elements in a curriculum. That definition itself gives you what was being referred to as a syllabus. And it is a core document that will always guide learning institutions on how to organize the learning. A curriculum design always provides details that show the relationship between the components. And in curriculum designs, they ensure that the curriculum can be implemented within the time allocated and with the infrastructure in the school. Components of a curriculum design. You'll allow me mention things here. In a curriculum design, there are several components. We have the strand. We have the substrand. We have the learning outcomes. Then we have learning experiences. Then KIQ to the very end. Give me a minute. Yeah. In these components of a curriculum, the strand basically is a broad category or a domain within a curriculum design that represents a major area of learning. Basically, strands typically encompasses a group of related knowledge, skills, and attitude. In the 844 system, this strand was referred to as the topic. The strand is what was being referred to in the previous curriculum as the topic. The substrand in this other way is more specific, is a subset or a subdivision within the larger strand. The substrand breaks down the content or competency areas into a more focused and manageable components. The substrand is what was being referred to as a subtopic. The strand is a topic, the substrand is the topic. The learning outcomes are the result of what the learner can demonstrate upon completion of a lesson, upon completion of a strand, or even upon completion of a substrand. Learning outcomes. These learning outcomes expresses what a learner is expected to do after going through a learning experience. The learning outcome can also indicate the expected observable behavior change in the learner after learning experience. McHugh, the definition of learning is that, if I'll get it right, is learning is the permanent change in behavior or something like that, and attitudes. A permanent change in behavior, attitude, and that is the definition. Now, the learning outcome will indicate that observable change in behavior. Then these learning outcomes are always expressed through the application of knowledge. They are expressed through the application of skills, and they are expressed lastly through application of attitudes. And learning outcomes must develop all these things that I've mentioned: knowledge, skills, and values. And in knowledge, this is the acquisition of facts, acquisition of ideas, concepts, the application, the synthesis to get new ideas, and the evaluation of information. And skills is the use of knowledge acquired by a learner, which will enable him apply it to perform certain tasks against a given standard. Values, as it comes, desirable beliefs and personal attributes that a learner acquires through knowledge and skill that will always influence the performance. And in formulating these learning outcomes, they ought to be very specific. And in formulation, it follows the Bloom's taxonomy. It follows the Bloom's taxonomy. And with the Bloom taxonomy comes the Bloom's verbs. We have the Bloom taxonomy and the Bloom verbs. In the Bloom's taxonomy, where a learner is supposed to apply knowledge, is supposed to create something from knowledge. A learner is supposed to evaluate, analyze, apply, and understand. It is a high order way of doing things. It is an inverted pyramid. No, it's a triangle where you'll have a look at the Bloom taxonomy, where the very end, the learner is supposed to create something. While the top of the Bloom's taxonomy, a learner needs to know. I confused. In the Bloom's taxonomy, a learner, the very least place is where a learner is asked to remember something or remember. This is let me give an explanation using the verbs, the Bloom's verbs that I was giving. For example, in the previous 844 curriculum, in Form 1, the first thing was introduction. And when a student comes for the first exam, a student is asked to list. A student is asked to outline. A student is asked to define. Those is the list where a student uses knowledge to remember. But in this Bloom taxonomy, a student is supposed to create new knowledge. A student is supposed to design, formulate, or even build, or even invent something. Now, with the Bloom taxonomy comes the key verbs, as you can see. Sorry, I don't have them here. Yeah, we have those ones. And we also have the learning outcome in these learning out. For example, if you're told to create, here a student is supposed to design something. If you're told to evaluate, a student or a learner is supposed to choose. When a student is told analyze, a student should be able to differentiate between one or two things. When a student is told to apply this knowledge that you've learned, a student is supposed to calculate something. When a student is asked to describe, that tests on his understanding or her understanding. When a student is told to recite or outline something, a student is being tested on remembering something. Then we have the learning experiences.
Yeah,
and
Augustine has some comments. Augustine, core mathematics is for students in the STEM pathway. Essential mathematics is for students in the social sciences and arts and sports pathway. That's a comment from Augustine. Maybe he was trying to correct something.
Thank you, Augustine. And thank you for that clarification. The mathematics and the essential mathematics. Thank you, my friend Augustine. Now, in the learning experiences, this is the interaction between the learner and external conditions in the environment. which he or she can react. And in the learning experiences, we have things that inform these learning experiences. The first one is prior knowledge. Second one is learning styles. Differentiated learning is what we said, and the multiple intelligence theory. And learning experiences are these activities or tasks that a trainee should carry out in order to develop desired knowledge, skills, values, and attitudes. And their interactions in a way learning takes place. Then to the very end, we have the key inquiry questions. And these key inquiry questions form the foundation of inquiry-based learning, which is a critical method in the CBE, as it involves asking questions, and such questions will help the learner retain information and encourage them to investigate concepts and study by asking further questions about what they were learning. What kind of questions are these KIQs? The key inquiry questions basically are the WH questions: the how, the why, the where, the when, and what are the five, the WH questions. And these questions always help to focus on learning. These questions probe for deeper meaning and also sets the stage for further questioning. It fosters development of critical thinking, skills, and high order capabilities, such as problem solving. And what makes a good KIQ, the key inquiry questions? A good key inquiry questions is that it should be open-ended, non-judgmental. A good inquiry question should encourage collaboration amongst learners, teachers, and the community. Then lastly is that it should encourage and integrate ICT to support the learning process. Now, what you have there is professional documents. This is, and before I say something on this, allow me to say that some of the materials that I prepared, that I was using to prepare this presentation, are actually from the British Council and KICD. Now, here is a sample of a scheme of work. This first page is where you have your administrative details, your name of school, the name of the facilitator, the grade, the subject, the term, and the year. Then here is a sample of a lesson plan, a scheme of work, sorry. We have the several columns there. The first column is week. The first row is a week, lesson, strand, substrand, the learning outcomes, the key inquiry questions, and what have you there. Now, have a look at it, but I want us to pay attention to the learning outcomes. The topic is listening and speaking. The subtopic is oral presentation or oral presentations of oral narratives. Then we look at the learning outcomes, where we have the first outcome is to outline the oral narrative performance techniques for effective delivery. The second outcome, is use oral narrative techniques during performance. Then lastly is appreciate the importance of performance technique in the success delivery of an oral narrative. There's a question I'll ask there, but we move on. We look at the second one, which is a lesson plan, a sample. We have the first page of a sample lesson plan is administrative details, where, as you can see, the name of the school, the date, the time, the subject, the year, grade, the role, boys, girls.
Can I ask a question? Yes, back to the schemes of work under resources. Are there course books that are already out under learning resources? I've seen you've listed the kind of learning resources, but there's no specific course book for the class grade 10. I don't know. Is there a specific one? Probably somebody can answer that, whether they are out or not, or what are you going to use, given that you are admitted grade 10 today and you're supposed to teach them straight away. Is there a specific textbook from the ministry or KICD?
Yeah, allow me to invite Augustine Rono to comment on that. He might be having some information. I know he can tell us one or two things. Augustine, please.
Well, hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm not sure if the textbooks yet, but one thing I know is that I think just this past Friday, the Ministry of Education was saying they're releasing money to publishers to be able to produce to print the textbooks for us. So I think I can authoritatively say that currently we don't have any books out, either the KICD or Ministry recommended for grade 10 learning areas. Thank you.
Yeah, when are you supposed to start teaching them? Now that they are admitted, when are you supposed to start teaching them? Constance, can you answer that? Because you are in the administration. Are you there, Constance? Or Daniel Omolo is there? Without the textbook, what are you going to do with the grade 10? Will they stay for 2 weeks without being taught? You can continue as they think about the answers they want to give.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'd not want to comment, but I think what Augustine has said, that the ministries will release the materials. But I've seen some publishers already running with some material for the grade 10. We still wait for government.
Is giving us a solution that they'll be taken through introduction of the pathways as we wait. Quite interesting.
Leaves a lot to us as teachers. I don't know what we'll do. Will we teach or will we wait? We leave that to the government. They'll take us through. Yes, the lesson plan there, as I was saying, we have the administrative details on the first page. The second page, we have the strand listening and speaking, substrand, oral presentation. This is an excerpt from this has been, or it comes from the scheme of work. And I told you to look at the 3 outcomes. And if you can be keen enough, I don't know, can we point out knowledge, attitude, and skills? Can it come out from the 3 objectives we have there. Like the first one, outline the oral narrative performance technique. What does this test? Is it knowledge? Is it skills? It is what exactly is it? Use of oral narrative techniques during performance. Anyone who can help us identify attitude.
Outline. That is.
Outline.
That's knowledge. I think it deals with recall.
It calls recall. Knowledge. Do we have any skill that is being tested there?
Use.
Perfect. You're good students and teachers at the same time. Yeah, the key inquiry questions, as I'd talked. What do you enjoy most during your storytelling session? How do you become a good storyteller? Yeah, then lesson development, the steps in lesson development.
Khadija has a contribution about knowledge, Macau use of skill, and then Macau also say appreciate attitude. Those are comments from the chat.
Yeah, thank you, Chair, for going through the chat over and over. Now the steps perform. Step 2, in pairs, learners discuss. Step 3, learners perform. You see, it is in red. And this is what I said, that it is learner-centered. The students perform these things. The students, they are immersed in the lesson. Yeah, I don't know if, look at the conclusion. Learners are guided to discuss. This is where the teacher comes in. Remember from the introduction, we said that a teacher is a facilitator. A teacher is a guide. The teacher comes now in to guide. The learners discuss the question. How can you become a good storyteller? Then we have extended activity and a reflection for the teacher. Part of the lesson was not fully covered since the performance was engaging. Yeah, that is it. I think I should be coming to the end of the presentation, Chairman.
Now there's a voice from the pioneers of junior school. He's saying, a pioneer of junior school, we had some short introduction notes from teachers arena as we waited for the KICD ones. It was not a smooth beginning, so he's telling us that we have to wait. I think Patricia from Turkana is telling us that as the pioneer of junior school. So we wait. You go ahead as you come to the conclusion. We'll have time for question and answer. We have about 15 minutes to go for question and answer, and then I'll give Constance the chance maybe to share with you our next regional webinar. Constance, get ready to share a bit of what you people are going to do. Yes, go ahead, Eza.
Thank you, Chair. I'd want to invite questions from colleagues, peers, and also anyone in the meeting who has a comment or who wants to add on what I've discussed on the CBE Classroom. Dennis Appeal.
Augustine, hand is up.
Yes, Augustine, go before Dennis.
Yeah, this is Augustine. I wanted to revisit the issue of the textbooks as you had asked. You know, we lost power here, and I think it affected my internet connection. So I can again authoritatively say that the textbooks are actually not ready. They're not ready because the government delayed payments to publishers and printers. And what they're saying is we are expecting a rollout by mid-January, so probably maybe from next week. So I can officially say that we actually do not have the textbooks for the courses, because it says here that as of early January, publishers expect to deliver only about 50% of the required books by mid-January 2026, with full distribution targeted by January 31, 2026. So you see, today we were 12, and we're expecting the books to be delivered by the end of the month. So definitely, we are going to begin grade 10 without the textbooks. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Augustine. There was somebody also whose hand was up. Unmute and say something. Who is next after Augustine?
Dennis Apio.
Yes, Dennis. Apio from Bondorarieda.
I'm sorry, Chairman. I came in late.
Yes, welcome.
Yeah, so I've missed much of what was presented. I may not be able to ask a question.
Yeah, Catherine, are you able to talk? Catherine, you are telling us that the books are already approved from the two publishers. I think Catherine was trained at the national level. Catherine from Nakuru, the chairperson of the chapter. Yeah, he's saying the course books. Catherine is saying that the course books are there for buying. I think Catherine knows where they are. Will tell us on the wall. It is only that the ministry has not issued theirs, and approved books are there. Yeah, I agree with this. Some of us have written books which have been approved. So it's only the go-ahead, given the go-ahead from the ministry. And I think teachers have said they'll be creative on the chat. And somebody is telling us, Christopher from Turkana, the mind shift is the most important element here. Yes, thank you, Christopher, for that. Let us change the mind. The mind shift is important, which is our key milestone here, our topic. And that is it. Augustine, do you want to say something? Augustine, go ahead. Or you have not lowered your hand, virtual hand. Yeah, if there are no questions for Ezra, thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. And before we leave, there's an announcement. LPAC has been chosen by the British Council to present a regional webinar on the 24th. And 3 of us have been chosen to do that for us. That is Tiberius, Constance, and Elizabeth. So if Constance is here, can you tell us about the topic that you will present and the time? There's already a flyer. I don't know whether you've seen the flyer. I will share the flyer for those who have not seen. Regional webinar, which means it will be for the global and sub-Saharan Africa. Yeah, Hadija, I think, is aware because she presented one of them. And now we have the regional one presented, will be presented by Tiberius, Elizabeth, Constance on 24th January. What time, Constance? Can you say something about the impending regional webinar? Constance, I hope you're there. Because I've not seen Tiberius and Elizabeth. Our treasurer, Constance.
I can see Constance.
Yeah, Constance is not there. So I've just made the announcement. I'll share the flyer on all our platforms. so that you people can join another time for our next webinar that will be there on 24th. So don't worry, I will be there and share the flyer. Perhaps some of you may want maybe to reach me. I've been sending messages, not getting people, but let me share my number. The other one is known, but you can also reach me through 0768 82 44 29. So you can reach me through that number. In case you attended this webinar and there's some information maybe you want to know from me, I think others know, because I've been communicating with chapter leaders and there are some people that have never reached me. So my number is 0768 82 44 29. Just inbox me and then I'll be able to help you. So I